Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Zero Velocity Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Thorpe. Today, we are talking about isometrics for business success. Now, I know there's a ton of you out there who are going, how are we going to make money helping people with isometrics? I mean, if we look at the stats, and I just got them written over here, 312,000 physios, and this is specific to the US market. So 312,000 physios, 127,500 physiotherapy assistants, over basically 113,000 physio clinics. That's crazy. So we're going to help you guys make money helping more people. That's our goal today. Now, it's not just physios, it's also the fitness industry. Because there's about 104,000 health and fitness centers in the United States alone. Almost 340,000 personal trainers generating revenue. There's also chiropractors, massage clinics, spas, golf clubs, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu studios, you name it, we can help you make more money helping more people. Now here's the cool thing, right? So we're going to pull up our first slide. This is what we're talking about today. This cold hard cash. How do you make money selling isometric-based exercise? Well, here's one of the things, right? We have massive problems in the world of fitness and performance and physio and everything like that. A lot of people are getting injured doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is being healthy and being active. Right? So we have a problem. Problem is either people aren't exercising enough, they're exercising too much, they're getting injured by what they're doing, they're not seeing the results they expect for the time they're putting into their exercise. That's on the client side. Now on the business side, how do we help you guys make more money on a square foot basis? Well, here's where Isophit comes in. And, you know, they're one of our sponsors. For full disclosure, I'm the guy who created it. So one of the things that we have to focus on is in a business is how do we generate more revenue per hour of time? How do we generate more revenue per square foot? Right? Because a lot of stuff that we have to think about, right? Because if you're paying rent somewhere, how do you maximize your revenue? Traditionally, personal trainers work one-on-one. Average US rates range between $60 and $80 per hour. That's not a great return on investment if you really think about it. Now, if I could show you and explain to you how in 14 hours of time you could generate $364,000 requiring no more than 200 square feet. Now, to give you perspective what you can generally fit in 200 square feet, it's not much. It's a couple treadmills. Now, treadmills, traditionally speaking, generate a per month revenue, which is great if you just want people to come in and watch TV. Now, we already know through other episodes of Zero Velocity Podcast, running increases the likelihood of injury. Our members getting injured by the activities that we're offering. So let's jump back to really kind of about isometrics. It's not about tacking the other stuff. But if we look at a traditional gym model, you have your cardio section. You have your weight training section. That's all your free weight stuff, squats, dumbbells, you know, the stuff that people leave on the floor at the end of the night that's frustrating, it's crazy, annoying. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about if you own gyms, right? Then you got your selectorized fitness equipment. You know, one machine that does two things probably, right? You can obviously, let's say it's a chest press machine, you can obviously change the rate of acceleration, you can mitigate that and play around creating different experiences, but at the end of the day, people sort of read the title, it says chest press, well, they think it's for your chest. And if you see somebody doing a row on it, well, high probability somebody comes over to them and says, hey, you're using this machine wrong, turn around, right? And if you look at it, a traditional suite of selectorized equipment is about 12 through 20 different exercise machines, ranging between $3,500 and $6,000 a unit. Now, they're finally made for 1 or 2 people. Then you have to worry about resistance profiles and loads and all this other stuff that might make them not necessarily the greatest exercise experience. So how do we combat all of these different problems I just threw out there to enhance the exercise experience for that person? Well, that's where Isophit comes in, because not only does it aid in revenue generation, it aids in client experience, accelerated results, maximizing your return per square foot in your facility, right? Because what I want to offer you guys is a way to differentiate yourselves. So how do we solve all of these different problems? Because remember, when we're looking at 104,000 gyms, 340,000 personal trainers, 312,000 physios, how do you guys stand to basically differentiate yourself? So it really kind of comes out, you gotta dare to change. You gotta be different. You gotta differentiate yourself from your competitors, right? Because there's a ton of people out there demonstrating on how to do a squat. Now, if you go to YouTube and you throw the online personal trainers into the mix, it's like a tsunami of like, how do we stand out from a crowd? Now, the really is we got to turn things upside down. We got to flip things over. We got to look at the world differently. You know, you might say this duck is drowning. I'm going to say this duck is getting a drink. This duck is basically sustaining life. It needs water. Keep your head above water all the time. You might not be able to breathe. So, how do we take a small square footage, and you guys see this Isophit MSK back here? It takes up 7 square feet of user space. Now, envision a small studio, a very small studio. Like this studio here is only basically 300 square feet, and we could fit 10 units in here. And imagine, so we're going to break down the math, because I know $364,000 sounds like a lot of money. Until you break it down, you do a work back schedule. You sort of say, how do I get to $364,000 only working 14 hours per week, right? So if you're a physio and you're looking to make some extra money, here's a great option. If you're a personal trainer looking to make more than $26 to $45 per hour, here's a great option. Now here's the kicker. 10 units is less than $15,000, depending on where you live in the world, plus shipping, plus licensing fees. So let's round it out and say for $30,000, you're going to learn how to make $364,000 and get a whole bunch of support behind you, teaching you how to do that, right? So let's break it down, $364,000. So you got 10 units. Well, our program, 30 and 30, is a pre-structured group exercise style class. It looks at 30 different isometric-based exercises done over the course of 30 minutes. So it's a 45-second muscle contraction with a 15-second transition time. Already laid out. So all you have to do is learn the routine. And to be honest, put the routine on the wall and focus on helping and assisting your client. Increase their client experience. Help generate that result that they're searching for. So we have 10 units. It's going to cost $25 to the consumer. And we're going to use a perfect model here. So 14 classes or 14 hours equals 28 classes. That's only 4 classes per day on a week, like every day of the week. So obviously you're looking at that and going, well, 7 times 4 is 28. 28 times 25 plus that, all of those participants is 10. So it works out to be $7,000 per week that you're generating. Now, you do have to also do a little bit more than just go, oh, let's put 10 units together. You also have to contact people. You have to bring people in. Now, this is where it's hugely beneficial for gyms and physiotherapists, because you already got a network of clients who know you and trust you and believe in you. So what we're able to do is take something, the exercise community, and say, hey, here's something new and innovative that is highly effective, highly efficient, and super safe. It's going to help you maximize your health benefits in other areas of life. And when you start to explore the science behind isometrics, it's everything from the prevention of Alzheimer's disease, the reduction of obesity risk, hypertension, different types of cancer. You can strategically grow bone with isometrics, right? So you can see your population of your demographic growing and growing and growing. Now we throw in the fact that with the Isofit, you don't have to clean up anything at the end of this workout outside of wiping it down. You know, if you have a studio, you might want to move them off the floor. So you can put them in our Sherpa, which is a carry set, right? So you just line them up, fold them up, and put them over there. It's really kind of simple. They're only 39 pounds. But if you're running your own studio and you just leave them there, all you have to do is wipe them down, as opposed to picking up plate after plate after plate and putting dumbbell after dumbbell after dumbbell back, right? Because that's problematic at the end of the night. Most gyms dedicate 30 minutes of gym cleanup time to actually make their facility look clean for tomorrow's new client. So that's one thing that traditionally is a big pet peeve of gym owners. So how do you make money? Well, it's got this thing called force matching technology. So it's a play off Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. As I push into the crossbar, right? So as I push into this crossbar, it's going to match my outputs. As I turn and do a different exercise, as I come here and do a deadlift, right? So you guys can see instantly how versatile this product is. So I can do all this sort of stuff. We can quickly and easily adjust the angles, right? So I can target different positions, right? And I can move. So that's working my glute. Now I turn it in, I'm working my inner thigh. So now I can step back and I'm now doing, a lunge. I can do a one-legged squat. I can move this around. So if I'm a yoga studio and I want to make my yoga a little bit more resistance-based, I can do stuff, right? I can do stuff quickly. I can work on hamstring pulls, right, from a standing position. So that's preventing me from going forward. So I'm counterbalancing those forces. All the way through to, I want to do like a shoulder press. I'm pushing up, I'm pulling down, right? I'm doing a row. So there's many things from a programming perspective that we can touch upon. We can do all this stuff from a program perspective that just adds significant value to your business. We have clients in their 80s and 90s that use Isofit. We have people who are cancer patients that are currently using Isofit, and it's reducing their risk of chronic pain. We have a zombie. Yes, exactly. We have a dude who died, who was brought back to life, who is in a coma, who's got what's basically a left ventricular assistive device, an LVAD, that circulates his blood. It's an external pump using Isofit. That is on basically the health side. On the sports performance side, we're intertwined with a lot of professional teams throughout the US and mainly Europe right now. A lot of basketball teams, soccer teams. In the US, it's basketball. NFL players are using Isofit. MLB, so Major League Baseball. We've had 2 World Series titles for Isofit users. There's a ton of stuff. UFC athletes, we're intertwined there as well. And you look at that and you go, well, hold on. You just told me a guy who's a zombie is using it. Grandma, our youngest kid who was using Isofit, she was 8 years old. She's hitting, she was driving the ball almost 200 yards at less than 10 years old. It's pretty crazy. Those are some things that we gotta sort of approach. We gotta be willing to dare to change. We gotta look at things differently. But one thing that I need from you, and this is probably the most important word of the day, and we're gonna pull that slide up, and it's innovation. It really is. We are speaking a different language. We are having to re-educate the community. Because there's a lot of people out there, they talk about innovation, but then they just repackage, dynamic movement. And there's nothing wrong with dynamic movement if you're prepared for it. Now, here's the thing. By moving, that doesn't equal you didn't actually prepare for it. You actually just practiced it. And that's life-altering. Because when you start to incorporate isometric-based exercise into your exercise routine, and I highly recommend start with isometrics and finish your workout with isometrics. Because what happens during your workout, you do all kinds of things that may traumatize your structure. Because when you're looking at motion-based exercise, you have things called inertia, right? So as an object moves through space, it has a tendency to continue moving in that same direction until an external force acts upon that object, right? So if I'm doing a bench press and I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down, well, as I'm coming down, that 315 pounds is still going down as you go back up. That's why people blow out their pec major on the stretch response of a muscle, where they go to sort of say, let's bounce off the bottom, right? So when we're looking at that word innovation, now, one thing we also have to think about is maybe, just maybe, we have to commit to a different exercise thought process. We have to take something away. You guys heard of that thing called a warm-up? So give me your warm-up, right? If you're in a gym environment, if you're a personal trainer, if you're unwilling to sort of commit to the entire process, just give me the warm-up. I'll take that, right? Because what happens is warm-up shouldn't mean just hot and sweaty. Warm-up should actually mean neurologically and functionally prepared for the activity you're just about to do. And no offense to the people that sort of say, let's warm up on a treadmill. All you did was get hot and sweaty and go practice walking or running on a treadmill. You didn't actually sort of say, hey, let's prepare this muscle for a bench press or a deadlift or basketball or soccer, or how do I get up off the toilet in the morning because my physicality is so poor, or I'm recovering from an injury. Instead of just throwing people under the bus, let's teach them how to prepare for movement. And I know it's going to take that big, huge, all-important word, and we're just going to end on this note. It's commitment. It's commitment to learn a new word. It's a commitment to learn a new activity. And there's a learning curve, right? Because traditionally in isometrics, or if you're in school for physiotherapy or personal training, they talked about isometrics for about 5 minutes out of a 4-year program, like if you're in physiotherapy school. Now, traditionally, it's the first thing they use when you're looking at return to play activities, post-op, stuff like that. But then they have a 6-week protocol, and after 6 weeks, it's gone. That commitment to isometrics is gone. But if it works so well to get you back to the sport you love or the activity you love, why not learn to monetize it? So if you guys would like to know more about what we're doing at Isophit and implement it into your own business practice, start a new business practice, and help more people get healthier faster, right? I'm of the belief we can eradicate hypertension, obesity, chronic pain, and subsequently poor athletic performance if we prepare for motion better. Because the way we're doing it now, unfortunately, all of those things I just mentioned are at epidemic levels. Obesity off the roof. Hypertension. There's 1 billion people with hypertension. And obesity is crushing it, or almost crushing it, from a leading cause of death perspective. It's now surpassing it, right? So hypertension used to be bad, now it's obesity. So we're missing the boat here, folks. Anyways, great episode today. Love talking about isometrics. Love talking about isometrics for business. I will see you guys on the next episode of Zero Velocity Podcast. If you guys have any questions, email us. Just like to thank my sponsors, Zenkai Sports, Kinvent, and Isophit. Without you guys, Zero Velocity wouldn't be what it is. Got to practice my dancing.